Do you ever communicate with any of the other ladies?
No, I respect everyone's, space. At some point, we will. We'll all have to at some point.
Yeah.
And I think that we're all grown, and I think that everyone has love and respect, and I think it'll be fine. We just don't necessarily need to at the moment.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Yeah, excited?
I'm so excited.
Nervous?
Of course.
Yeah?
I have a whole human I'm responsible for.
Yeah. You grew up with strong women.
Very much so. My mom and my grandma are very independent. They all had their own careers, so I think it really changed kind of how I viewed relationships.
Which leads to that's why this is a unique relationship, but it seems like you are navigating it well.
I think I'm navigating it well because it's just naturally effortless. Like, we just get along so well and everything just flows. And when you have honesty and all of those things, it kind of makes it easy. And I think our communication is so great that if there's something I don't like or something I want to talk about or address, like, he's very easy. So
Somebody, I literally, she just walked up when I parked. She walked up and said, "Look at this, something somebody sent you in the mail." And I'm a huge fan of Nick's. I mean, he's one of my favorite people, known him since he's been little. And I said on the show, he is committed to fatherhood. And this person wrote me a note about how wrong I was for saying that he was committed to fatherhood. How would you say to answer that person who wrote this note? Is like, how dare you say that, because that has nothing to do with fatherhood, him having all these children. What would you say to that person?
I feel like that's probably the thing that's brought up the most, and people try to paint him in such a different light than he is. He has the ability to be wherever he wants, whenever he wants. He makes his schedule. He can, if I need him on tour, he can get on a plane and come home, whether you're commercial or not. He has the resources to be present and available, and majority of families don't have that. So you work your 9 to 5, let's say, and you get home and the kids are already asleep, and then on the weekends, like, it's just not the same presence. He gets to be fully present when he's here and dictate that time and manage that. So I just find it so interesting that people think that the typical way of raising a household is the only way.
I feel like one day there could be a show called The Cannons or something like that. Could there?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends.
Do you ever communicate with any of the other ladies?
No, I respect everyone's, space. At some point, we will. We'll all have to at some point. And I think that we're all grown, and I think that everyone has love and respect, and I think it'll be fine. We just don't necessarily need to at the moment. I think no matter what, the kids are going to be super close and supported, and it's very easy. They can all communicate, after a certain time, we can kind of step out. But I'm kind of for what everyone wants. Like, I don't want to press, like, oh, we all have to do Thanksgiving. We all have to do whatever. I just want to make it easy on him and on the kids, and let them know their siblings and choose what they want.
One always makes you want to have two.
I know. I heard.
Right, I'm just telling you.
We'll see.
You get to a point and you're like, oh, I want to do this again.
Yeah.
This is the greatest thing ever.
I mean, we'll see.
How do you split time, or how often will he be able to come see his son?
I mean, that all obviously dictates what's going on in his work schedule, but he's great. Even, yesterday had a sensory class in the morning with some kids, and then has, the twins the next couple hours for the park. Like, he makes the schedule work. We all can go through the assistant to make sure it's on the calendar if there's something important. But anything you say you need from him, this man always shows up. So, we have X, Y, and Z. It's on the calendar. He's there.
His poor assistant keeps it going. Manages everything.
Everything. Huh? I don't know how she does it.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how either of them do it.
Right. I mean, just the birthdays, the names. That's a lot.
It's a lot. And he makes it happen, though. Nobody can say he can't show up. He does.
I love that. He is one of the 5 busiest people in the world.
Yeah,
is he on the clock right now? So when you
Probably.
call, is he going to just
oh,
going to
no,
break?
He's definitely ready, because any minute we could be having this baby. So he knows he's on call, but he's also on tour.
So he's on tour right now.
Yeah.
How will he get here in time? Where as soon as your water breaks, you're like, bruh.
Basically.
Because this could happen any moment now. I mean, it could happen during this interview.
Basically.
We were hoping to make news.
We're already home, so it's good.
So tell me about the delivery. Will Nick be here?
Yes, Nick will absolutely be here. He has no choice.
Okay, so he will definitely be here.
Yes, he will be here. Of course, he wants to be here. So we have a birth team that'll come to the house, and my family will be here, and he'll be here. So it'll be very intimate and different.
So it'll be your family, like a little tub,
Yeah, basically.
and Nick and...
Yeah, so my family will stay down here. We won't subject them to that, but
Right,
I do
right.
have the bathtub obviously in the house upstairs and the tub that they bring, so you can kind of go between. So it'll be the water birth. You can pick either one when you're laboring and whatever's more comfortable.
When did you start getting the nursery? And what's the style that you were going? What were you going for? Because this is a boy.
Yeah. So I think that was kind of the hard thing for me. I wanted really elevated and luxury, not like too typical baby nursery, but I wanted to keep it super neutral and not take away the masculinity of it. So it was kind of an interesting thing to gauge.
All right. Do you have a name?
I do.
You do. How did you come up with a name?
We were actually struggling because, you know, he likes to be very different.
Different names,
and
yes.
I not so much. So we went back and forth for a while, and I had come up with one name and he jazzed it up a little bit, and then we finally picked. But we knew that was it, and we stuck with it after that.
Now, this is what's interesting. You two have dated for a long... People don't know that you've dated for a long time.
No.
And he has let you go.
Yeah.
Explain that.
So I think that's probably the most interesting part, is that at any moment that I say I'm unhappy or I'm not getting my needs met, or maybe, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. I did reconsider it at some point, and I did get married, and then I knew that really wasn't for me. He allows me to have my own growth and be my own person, to figure out what really made me happy in order for us to get to the step to actually welcome a child. Because this was a conversation we had for a long time, on and off, and I was unsure, and he was like, you need to figure that out first. And once I did, here we are.
What was his reaction when you told him you were pregnant?
He was excited. He was happy. I mean, it wasn't, you know, an accident or anything. Like, we were intentional.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You've been dating for a long time. So
Yeah.
you guys said, let's have a baby?
Yeah.
And you talked about this on a podcast you recently did, that some people gave you grief about that announcement.
Oh, yeah.
How hard was that?
Well, I think that's the other thing. It wasn't really an announcement. It was meant to be a very private, intimate family setting. And we're not really sure how it got out, because we only had about 20 people there, and majority was family and my best friends that would never, you know, tell anyone. So I think having us be exploited in the sense of like not being able to come out on our own timing and constructively the way we wanted to, because we wanted to be respectful of what was going on, that was really hard, because that was not ideal. And our plan was actually to keep this private until it wasn't such a sensitive time.
Sure.
And obviously we couldn't do anything about the circumstances and what happened, and it's really unfortunate, and like my heart goes out to her. So that was the last thing I wanted to do, was hit her while she was down, and him. You know, they're both grieving. So it was really hard, because you also want to like celebrate your child and this new life, and you know, the relationship that you've carried for so long. So it was tough.
You said also on the podcast that you love Nick, and that could you ever see you two being together permanently?
I mean, I plan on being together permanently no matter what, whether it's, you know, for us, it's like also a spiritual thing and a mental connection. So even if we weren't physically, we will always be together. We will always maintain our relationship. I can't ever see us not getting along, honestly.
Right.
Or cutting that relationship that we have.
Not now, but eventually. You're a young and beautiful woman. Will you date again, or will you see each other mutually, or will you?
We'll see.
Whatever you want to do, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I love our relationship, and obviously my family's number one to me, and we'll make that work, and I'm happy. So if at any point that changes, we have our respect, and we'll figure that out.
By the way, who you are, also real estate mogul. You're doing a lot of real estate stuff, right? What kind of, how busy is your business schedule, and how are you handling that?
Yeah, so that's been the biggest thing, I think, for me, is I don't want to step away from business, but I also know that I really want to spend time with my son and how important it is the next couple of years. So obviously I haven't encountered it just yet, but I am planning to take a little bit of time off. I was doing 3 months to 6 months off, and then I ended up getting a really amazing opportunity, which I can't share just yet, but I will be going back to work a lot sooner than I anticipated.